This is Trigger Point, episode 11. My name's Serena, and sitting across from me is my co-host, Peter. Hello, Peter.
Hello, everyone.
So I'm still high from the recording of our last episode.
Which is like 10 minutes ago.
We just did like a mouth fart, like everything. Anything that just came in our mind, we just let it go. And we just said it, and we didn't care about the structure of the show. I mean, of course we should have, but we kind of forgot.
Yeah, there was no structure.
And then we decided, okay, you know what? We're going to keep that as an episode. And I'm sure you would have known. If you listened to the previous episode, you know exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah, we just randomly went on tangents, which is what we usually do.
Yeah, in a way, it's kind of relaxing. It's a much more relaxing way of a recording. We just say whatever we think.
Okay, but getting to this episode...
Yeah, we're going to go straight into it. No, actually, we're not going to go straight into it. There was something I was going to say, and I forgot what I was going to say. Yes, when I was in the US...
Yes.
International House of Pancakes. The USA, I love your International House of Pancakes. I think apart from Apple and iPhones and iMacs and iPads and all of that stuff, the next best thing you guys have ever made is International House of Pancakes.
Okay.
Yes. Oh, and Broadway's. I like Broadway's.
It's pancakes.
Yes, but their breakfast stuff is good.
Okay.
Yes.
Such as?
Like, you know, fried eggs, sausage, bacon.
And how different
hash
is
brown
it to what you get here?
It's just, I don't know, it's not as good. And fountain drinks, as in unlimited refill drinks. And it's not just like soft drink either. They had like strawberry kind of like punch thing. You finish drinking, they give you another one. And it's not just strawberry punch. They actually had bits of strawberry, big strawberries in it. There was like 10 strawberries in the drink. And I normally don't like strawberries because they're too sour. These ones are obviously candied ones, but they were good. They were nice. Oh, I loved it so much.
Just remind you how much calories are in each of those.
Look, any pancakes we have here at Pancake Parlor will have the same amount of calories, except it doesn't taste as nice.
Okay.
And they had more sauces. You know how they had like, maple syrup in Pancake Parlor? Over there they had 5 different sauces. Like they have blueberry, strawberry, pecan, old fashioned, which I think is maple syrup and stuff, and then it'll taste nice.
Okay.
I'm hungry. Peter's gonna make me dinner. He's actually started cooking already. Wait, aren't we eating?
Huh?
You just cooked. When are we eating?
Oh, we can. I can reheat that.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, I was just.
Peter cooks me food every single time I come to record. It's really good because I don't cook.
Yes. And we probably wouldn't trust in you cooking either.
I can make instant noodles.
Oh, actually, I was recently. I've been like watching the TV.
The TV
Network.
show about instant noodles.
No,
no.
Obviously, completely different topic.
It's a TV show about instant noodles, all different ways of cooking instant noodles.
Okay, I did not watch that.
I haven't watched that either, but it looks interesting.
No, anyway, I was watching the worst cooks in America. Funniest show ever.
I'm not surprised if there's people who are worse cooks than me. I have seen people who manage to burn the pot when they're making hot water. Like how the hell? Like seriously.
But it was fascinating. It's funny. Like sometimes it's just amazing. Like the stuff that people can just not know. Like. I don't know. It's hard to say. Like I can't find an example on top of my head. At the moment,
microwaving stuff with aluminium wrap around it.
No, that's I can see that happening. But like, I'm thinking like, there was this guy who was making applesauce.
Yeah. Okay.
So he was told, basically his mentor was like, okay, spice it up a bit. You know, the applesauce, just, add
cinnamon.
Something. Yeah, add cinnamon to it, right?
Even I know that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And he does.
Yeah, okay.
Except he added half a jar of cinnamon into the applesauce.
He's obviously never seen any of those YouTube videos where people try to eat like a spoonful of cinnamon and see whether they can survive.
And he's like,
oh my God.
He like applesauce are usually, depending, what color. Like usually the applesauce is like, greenish, light greenish, whitish color, right? With a tinge of yellow, right?
Yeah.
By the time he finished with the applesauce, it was brown. Like, really brown. Not like light brown. Dark brown. Can you imagine how much cinnamon he added into the applesauce?
Did he try eating it? Like, what was his reaction eating it? Like, I'm guessing.
Well, he didn't realize that it was an issue.
Didn't he taste it? There's
No.
no taste testing. Okay.
No.
Of course
That's
not.
the thing. These are worse cooks in America, right? They don't realize that you need to test and taste test cooking.
I don't know. I mean, what? Okay, I'm glad I'm not.
The amount of time that like you see the contestants, put something in, and then the dementor go like, "Did you taste it?" All right, and then they go and taste that and go like, "Oh, that's bad." Like, yeah.
Wait, so where are they cooking this? Is that in their own house or like in a My Kitchen Rule situation? Like,
Yeah, it's like a My Kitchen Rule thing. Like, but the one I'm watching recently anyway is it's like a celebrity version. So
Oh God, yeah.
so you had all these like reality TV stars who obviously can't cook. And
Reality TV stars are not
in America, they are probably
Yeah, no, even in Australia. Come on.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
But then the guy who played Superman in Lois and Clark was in it as well.
Lois and Clark.
You know that old Superman?
Yeah.
The guy who plays Superman.
But I'm trying to remember which one that was. Whether Smallville and Lois and Clark.
No.
Yeah, okay.
Like the Lois and Clark was like ages ago.
Yeah.
Ages ago, right?
How old is he now?
I don't know. Old.
Does he look the same?
Bit fatter.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can still kind of see resemblance.
Okay.
But yeah, it was just like you see some of these people and you're like, wow, you really have no idea how to cook. Like not even like
Remotely.
cooking, but like remote cooking skills are like non-existent. And I was like, wow, some people are like really that bad.
God.
It was fascinating. It's in some respects, I find it a lot more fun to watch that than watching like My Kitchen Rules, for example.
Yeah,
like,
I don't watch any
because
celebrity TV.
sometimes like, look, these people. Oh, I was like, watching those like kids baking show. I'm like, seriously. No. Yeah. Anyway, but this is actually funny because like I can really see you have absolutely no idea. It's fascinating. It's brilliant. I love it. It was like so much fun watching it.
No, God.
and I went and told my friend. I was like, good. She's not a very good cook either. And I said to her, it's like, don't feel bad. You're much better than them. It's fine. You can improve on this. You're studying at a much higher level here. Anyway, so yeah. Shall we go into our topic straight away?
Yep, sure. I mean, we already went on a tangent for like 1.5 hours. So yeah.
Let's get into it.
We're gonna get into it.
Okay, so our topic for this week, which should have been last week.
No, this
this
episode.
which
We can't say this month because it's not. Yeah. So this episode,
which should have been last episode's
Yep.
topic, is Dirk Gently.
a holistic detective agency.
Yes.
Is it a Netflix original? I can't remember.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Okay. So this is a TV series based off a book by Douglas Adams, or the writer of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. But apparently this, which I haven't read the book, so
I haven't read it.
yeah, apparently this is very different from the book.
I don't think there's anything the same apart from like
The name.
the names. Well, I don't think I think even all the secondary characters are all different. Apparently.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, like I don't think Todd is in the book.
No, I thought the fact was Todd and Dirk used to go to uni together.
Oh, I don't know. And the thing, I think the problem is like there's also been a lot of changes.
Yeah, well, it was UK before. It was based in the UK, and now it's based in.
No, as in like I think the writer actually changed the book heaps of times with each iteration.
Oh, okay. Oh, I have no idea. I was tempted to read the book. I am, but yeah, I haven't read a book.
I don't know if I am. After watching it, I don't think.
Well, if it's got nothing to do with the TV series,
I don't know.
Oh no! Apparently, he's not as manic, and he's supposed to be a little bit more depressed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so yeah, that's the TV show that we are going to
talk about.
So,
did we want to do a quick summary? I think it's kind of hard.
Yeah. Nah.
It's just a mystery show, right? Like,
yeah.
You get a mystery at the start, and the characters are trying to find out
what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basic gist of the show.
Yeah. Yeah. Except they give a reason. Like a lot of new shows right now, I feel like they give you a mystery at the start, and they try to the people are not detectives in any way, shape, or form, but you have like AO, or you have Sense8, or you have something, characters just dumped in the middle of a situation, or like Stranger Things, they get dumped into the situation and no one knows what's going on and they're trying to work it out. The audience member don't know and they're trying to work it out. And I think this is like a new show format. Like by giving you a mystery, they could string you along, because like a lot of old shows, they give you the premise immediately at the start, like Friends or whatever it is, and the idea is, or How I Met Your Mother, they tell you this is the way the show is going to go, and each episode is a story, and there's no mystery. Everything is told, is known at the start. Whereas now there is no start. Things just happen and you're just trying to work your way through. And I think this is the new way TV shows are going. Like it requires people to think a lot more and to trust the show. Like no matter what's happening, you have to I trust that the show is going to answer it in the end.
Well, to be fair, the examples you just gave, they were all sitcoms, so it's not quite the same.
Okay, I'm trying to think.
Like if you're going to do that comparison, then I can say the same thing for Big Bang Theory. It also seems like that. The premise is they're all there. Like you know everything. I was like, I mean, but if you're saying like mystery shows, I think that has changed as well. Like yes, the mystery shows these days are much more about things happen. Yeah. You don't know why it happens. It's happens.
Not just the characters not knowing, it's the audience don't know what's happening either. Yeah,
like I guess probably more traditional shows try to give you like I don't know. There used to be this like old UK detective show that I can't remember what it's called now. Inspector Morse, was it? I think it's Inspector Morse. Where at the start of the show, you know who killed. Oh, you know everything. Yeah. You know who killed.
Like Criminal Minds.
Yeah. So, and the show is about them trying to recreate that, except the audience already knows.
Yep.
I think these days there's a lot less of that. There's a lot less of shows that tell you that does the recreation thing. It's more
everyone don't know what's going on until they tell you.
Yeah. And in saying that, there's sometimes because of that, it does get a bit far fetched.
Yeah,
these days with some of the procedural shows where they do that, where they like trying to second guess you every second and
all the twists,
and like you kind of go like, yeah, that's a bit far fetched, and it's not really grounded in reality, or they kind of make it so that they'll explain it away by this little thing that
you didn't think about is actually so important to the show? What?
No. As in, like, there's just this tiny, like, thing that they'll just make up just so that it works. It works. I get sometimes a bit annoyed with that. Like, for example, like, some shows would make up one particular disease or or whatever that just happens to explain everything.
Oh, right.
I get a bit annoyed sometimes with something like that. But anyway, back to the show.
Yeah. Okay. So, did you like it?
I watched it in a very short period. I think I managed to finish watching it in like 2 days. It's only 8 episodes, so it's like 4 hours each day.
Although I'm surprised, like I thought this was a longer show. Like I forgot how short the show was. In my mind, it was like a 12, 15 episodes. And then when I looked at the episode list, I'm like, wait, there's only 8 episodes?
Yeah.
Oh, right. They cram a lot of stuff into each episode.
Yeah, they cram a lot of stuff into the show. It was... Look, I enjoyed the show and the fact that I kept on watching and I was hooked.
And you watch it in such a short time.
And I watched it, like it. I didn't like kind of be. Oh, what's the word I'm looking for?
Procrastinate.
Yeah, I didn't procrastinate. Like some shows, I'll be like, oh, it's okay, but then you're kind of like, oh, I'll watch it next time, or I'll watch it some other day, and end up never watching it again. Right?
It's not a drag to watch.
Yeah. So in that sense, it was great. Like I did like it because of that. I don't know if I would necessarily recommend people to watch it in some respects.
Okay.
And I'll get to that in a second. Like for me, the main thing about the show was like there was a lot of annoying parts to the show. There were a lot of annoying, and the premise of the show is that should I talk about the premise?
Yeah, you can.
Okay. So the premise of the show is like Dirk gently believes that everything in the world is connected.
Yeah.
And happens for a reason, and everything's interconnected. So him as a, quotation mark detective isn't really about him being a detective or trying
he
to
actually
figure
said it at the start. Like, he doesn't care about clues or evidence or any of that stuff.
He just goes wherever he wants and, meets whoever he meets, takes whatever he feels like taking, because he believes that whatever that at that moment he feels like would be related to his case and would therefore lead him to the solution. Yeah. And he does that. So basically there's a lot of randomness in this show. There's no logic behind this show. Don't go into this show thinking that it's going to be a detective story, because it's not. If anything, it's but a detective show. And there's no coherence in this show for me. I find that because the premise of the show is so out there, like there's no kind of like logical steps in the show. You don't see them. You don't see the process of where this show is going. You don't see any of that because there is none. Okay, which is why I have a problem with the show. Like it if you can accept that premise, if you can accept that this is just how the world is, this is just how this world is, and these people are just thrown into it because bad luck to them, then it's okay, because then you just kind of go along with the ride, and then you just kind of expect. You just have to expect the show to basically tell you what's going to happen. Yeah. Don't bother trying to figure out anything, because that's never going to happen. So yeah, I don't know if I don't know if I would say I like it. I enjoyed it. But I don't know if I like it.
But you'll watch the second season.
I'll watch season 2 when it comes up, because the mystery hasn't been totally resolved yet.
No. The case has been resolved.
The case has been resolved.
The mystery has been resolved. But
they
gave you more stuff that kind of hooks you in.
Yeah. And I just want to know what happens.
Right.
As with all mysteries.
Now, interestingly enough, the holistic part of the show, and I'm using holistic in the way that he means it, where everything is interconnected, and if you do what you feel is right, then everything will flow properly. That's his view. I don't mind that. I'm more pissed off by his character. Like the manic, I get okay. At the same time, I mean, like I said, I don't care about the holisticness of the show. I care about how he takes it, like how far he takes it. Like, sure, if you believe everything is supposed to work out the way it is, sure, whatever. But to break into someone's house because you feel like he's part of your case. Of course, you find out in the end that's not really the reason why he broke into his house, but still. And things like, oh, you got a lottery ticket? Let me just grab it off you and run into a bad guy's house, because that would cause you to run after me. Yep. And then let me throw it into that house so that then you'll have to go and like, really? Like, what? Like, you are so annoying. Like, and the thing with all the likes, but Farah, when she went to collect her inheritance, and there was a map, like, this is the perfect example of why it will piss me off. You have a serious person who just found out that the person she most respects has died. And she's got the will, and the lawyer said, I'll give you a moment. And so Farah's in this room, and she's crying because she's upset. Yeah. And suddenly Dirk shows up, and she's like, I thought you were gone. And he's like, why would I leave the room? The interesting thing is here. Like, the interesting thing that's happening is here. I'm like, really? Social conventions. What? Like, I understand that is what he does, but that what he does thing, everything that the excuse, that's his excuse. Everything he does that breaks convention, that is rude, that is stupid. Like, she gets a map and he grabs it and he's like, oh, I know what's going on. And he runs around and he's like, no, actually, I don't know what's going on. And you're like, why? Oh, you infuriate me so much. Because at the same time, I mean, sure, half the things he does results in something happening. but at the same time, 50% of the stuff he does not. And you're like, you're flipping a coin. Like your success rate is 50-50 at best. And if any normal person, like a lot of times I look at Todd and I'm like, I feel so sorry for you.
I know, right?
Like I feel so sorry for you. At the same time, I look at a character like Ken and I don't feel sorry for him. Like, I mean, the whole idea is that Todd and Ken are like mirrors of each other. Just like how, was it Dirk and Bart? They're like a mirror, right? They both believe that there's a holistic reason for them to be in anywhere, any place, at any time.
Yeah.
But I look at Bart and I don't find her annoying.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I don't find her actions frustrating. I feel like everything she does really does make sense, and there is a reason for why she's doing it. Dirk is more like, wow, luck is just like
really on your side.
Yeah, like the whole God protects fools thing. You
You're
are
epitome of that.
Yeah, and then I look at Todd and I look at Ken, and Ken doesn't believe originally, but he
embraces it later
on. He's persuaded through actions, through things that are happening. Todd, he starts to believe too, but I don't know why. Nothing. No, there's no moment where you'll think that it clicks. That yes, this is the moment where he goes, "Oh, everything you do, it does make sense."
Yeah. Whereas for Ken, there was that moment where he goes like, "This is this is real. Like, this is all true." And that's when he starts to kind of really embracing that. And it's like, okay, because this is true, and you found me to
help
tag
you
along.
With something. Yeah. There's a reason.
There's a reason, and so I will tag along now. And you don't see that with Todd and Dirk.
Yeah,
because Todd is also one of those characters. I don't know. I had an issue with Todd.
Yeah.
Both as a character and actor. I don't know why. I just never really enjoyed watching Elijah Wood act. I don't know what is it about him. He's just, there's something about his acting that just it doesn't ring true for me. Like
everything's a little over exaggerated. No,
not only that. It's like I never feel that he's really. I never feel he's really there in the character. He's just always a bit out of it. I don't know. I've just never really enjoyed watching him. And so I found it really hard to sympathize with Todd. Like I found it really hard to sympathize with him. And even though all the shit that he has to go through because of Dirk doing shit that he does, I'm like, why aren't you doing something about it? Like you're just kind of going along with it. You so vehemently say like, this is bullshit. I'm not going to go along with this, and yet you go along with it. And
well, no, the idea was that when he first blew up at Dirk and said, "You're invading in my life. Go away," and like at the first episode, was it the first episode? Yeah. And then Dirk was saying, you always complain about your life being boring or whatever it is, but you need to learn to grasp it, and then your life would change for the better. And then something did, right? Like, he wasn't going to do anything, and then he sees the dog, and he has a choice. Ignore it or do something about it. And he decided to do something about it, and he finds Lydia Spring.
Yeah.
And that was when he starts on that path of like, you know what? Maybe he knows what he's talking about. Like, maybe his belief in life has has some basis of being true. Except then we have the episode where he goes into the bad guy's house and everything and sets it on fire. Now, I went upon, if you think about it a lot, think about it deeply, Todd has a lot of issues. Like his character has a lot of issues. Elijah Wood's portrayal of him, it's very hard to believe that he really was the jerk he said he was.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I could believe his character being wimpy enough that when he told the first lie...
He had to tell more lies to cover up his lies.
Yeah, because he wouldn't ever be brave enough to come out and say he had an issue.
Yeah.
But his character, it's very hard for me to believe that he would even think about that first lie to begin with, that he would have the guts to tell his parents, "Oh, I have this disease. Could you send me more money?"
Yeah.
or the fact that he supposedly crept into his landlord / ex-drug dealer apartment to steal the money. I don't like
we never see at no point in the show do we see that side of him, that side where he is rebellious or where he is courageous or where he is a jerk.
Yeah,
we don't see any of that. But all we have is him telling us that this is what I was used to be.
What he used to be. Yeah.
And we just have to take it for granted. But nothing in his actions show that
he was like
that. And I agree with the part about him being a jerk. Like, yeah, it's like a really jokey thing to do, you know, to lie to your parents, to say that you have this fake disease.
Yeah.
Just
and
so
essentially
that,
drain them of all their money.
Yeah, to the point where he actually has drained them of all his money, and now that his sister does actually have the disease, he feels bad. I felt like if he was that much of a jerk to begin with, to have said that lie and to have done and gone through all of that, I don't think his sister having that disease and him not being able to help him would have affected him that badly. Like, I felt if his character was that much of a jerk to begin with. Whereas if it was, I can kind of get it if he was saying, you know, oh, I said this lie and now I can't stop lying and therefore I've drained my parents. It's more believable than him saying, oh, I just didn't want to work, so I told them this lie.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's just something that doesn't sit right with me in how his character is supposed to be and how it is portrayed now. It's like, there's no consistency in there. Like, either you were that much of a jerk, and in that sense, then how did your character change so much compared to what you are now? Or there's something not right.
And I'm saying I agree with you in all of that. And the fact that he hasn't... Another thing that his character annoyed me with was how he had that lottery ticket that he never cashed in. And that he just carries around like in his pocket and it gets scrunched up and all of that. I'm like, wait, I mean, sure, $10,000 in this day and age might not be a lot of money, but for someone who's supposedly like...
have no money.
Yeah, you'd reckon like that would be framed up somewhere, or that he'll cash it immediately and put the money in his bank account. You think that would be a logical thing to do.
Yes.
But he never does it. And that's why he loses it. Yeah. Now... in a way, that reminds me of like Seinfeld. You know, how the characters never have anything good happen to them. Like, no matter what happens, because they're terrible people, so it's always terrible things that happen to them. That reminds me of that. But in saying that, when I'm watching the TV show, I don't think of this. Because any time that you see Todd, you see Dirk. And Dirk's character had so many more issues and frustrate me so much more that it completely eclipsed anything that Elijah Wood does. So much so that I don't even realize Elijah Wood's character had an issue until I think about it afterwards. When I don't have Dirk doing stupid stuff like, when they dig up. They did this multiple times in the show, and every single time I do it, I cringe and I just want to throw something at the TV. You know how when they dug something up and there was like a crank or something, and Todd would say, "What is it?" And then like Dirk would have this really serious look on his face. It's a thing. And I'm like, really? Like, oh my God, just stop already. Like, stop. Like, you are telling us that Dirk is an idiot. And you are really hitting us over the head with the fact that Dirk is an idiot. And I don't like the fact that Dirk is an idiot. I would like it better if I thought that he knew what was going on the whole time and he had a goal.
Look,
and it was
even
working
if it didn't know or doesn't know everything about it, but at least have it so that he has some inkling about it, or there's some reason for him to think that. But no, there literally is none.
No,
and it is frustrating because you're like, why are you here then? And what are you doing? And
yeah, well, like, how did you survive? Like, that was a line, right? Todd, how did you survive? Like, seriously, how did you survive?
It's like, you know, so how did you get paid? Oh, the universe will pay me for doing this.
Yeah.
What?
And like the kind of irresponsibility that you sometimes have, like, it was a rental. The car was a rental. He just gave it to someone.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, what? Oh. Like, it was a one-liner. It went past really quickly, and you don't think about it. But you think about, wow, what the... Wait, how did you get that car to begin with?
Yeah.
Did you use someone else's credit? Is there some ex-Todd somewhere that you probably...
managed to screw up?
Yeah, like there's some ex-Todd somewhere that you used to call your best friend as well. You got his credit card details. Like, that's the kind of character I think he is.
Yeah.
Right? Like, oh yeah, he wouldn't care.
Yeah.
I just used the credit card. Oh, he wouldn't care. He'll be fine. He'll find some way to... His insurance was paid.
Or not that he wouldn't care, but he wouldn't even contemplate that. it's not something that will go through his mind.
Oh, no, I meant as in the ex-Todd wouldn't care. That's what Dirk would say. Oh, it'll be fine because ex-Todd would have his insurance would pay for it or something. Like he doesn't care about consequences.
Yeah.
Except he understands that there are consequences.
Yeah, I know, right? So it's kind of like you understand there is consequences, but yet you're still doing these shitty things.
Like they're hiding in the bad guy's bathroom. He's like, oh, upon further reflection, I realized, chucking your lottery ticket in there was actually a really, terrible thing to do.
It's like,
I'm like,
no shit, Sherlock.
Really? Oh my God. Like, really? But in saying that, there are like bits and pieces. Like there are times when Dirk don't annoy me. Like that point where the special agent, not the FBI agent, the special agent that was tasked to find all these special people. That moment when they were in the apartment building.
Yep. Yeah.
And Dirk was serious.
Yeah.
Like he's like, you're not coming back to get me.
Yeah.
Like, no, I don't want to go back there.
Yeah.
It's been 15 years. No, you can't do this. Like, at that moment, I'm like, wow, this is the real Dirk. He's not being an idiot.
Yeah.
He's not doing stupid things.
Yeah.
This is what he is really. And he's having a normal conversation, serious normal conversation with another person where he's not trying to hide behind like jokes or whatever. And then, of course, you have that idiot. What was that guy's name again? I forgot. That other special agent who is also an issue. He jumps him. And Dirk reverts to himself. Like, really? That's that? Oh well, not truly. Like he's still being serious. But it was nice to see him as a real person for a while. And unfortunately, you don't see that a lot in the show.
I think that's the only part that you kind of see that.
No. There was other section was when he was yelling at Todd when Todd was saying that he was a jerk, and Todd admitted to his past, like that he lied and all that stuff. And he said, "I'm a jerk, and there's nothing that you can do about it." And Dirk kind of saying, well, I'm sick and tired of you
saying that you're a jerk.
You're saying that you're a jerk and that's your excuse, that you're never going to change, that nothing's going to change, that everything you do. Like, what does that say about us when we care about you and you don't try to improve yourself?
Yeah. I must say, like, Dirk annoyed me. Mm-hmm. Probably not to the extent that I annoyed you.
Oh, really? Okay.
He definitely did annoy me, like, multiple times. But I think I was kind of... I really enjoyed... who's the guy? Samuel Barnett, who plays Dirk. I liked his portrayal of Dirk. I liked how he builds that character. The character is annoying.
Yep.
Don't get me wrong, this character is really annoying, but I loved his portrayal of the character. I liked how he showed that character as annoying as he is. And I think because I was enjoying watching that type of character come to life, it didn't annoy me as much to see the flaws in it.
Okay. No, luckily there was not a lot of scenes with them in it.
No.
Like, surprisingly, considering the show is called Dirk Gently's Investigations, there's not really that many scenes of them that I would be like...
It was just the two of them.
Yeah.
And I think that's the problem. Given that the show supposedly is about these two, going on this mystery, there's surprisingly few times when you actually just see the two of them, which is a good thing.
Yes,
which is a good thing. Because I must admit, like, there's a lot of others... excuse me, the side story where you have Bart and Ken.
Oh, I really love them. They're my favorite characters in the whole show.
They're like this. It's super good. Every time we go to that, I'm like, can we just stick with these guys a bit longer instead of going back to the original? Because like they're interesting. Like and I love their interaction. Their interaction was it's so weird but believable.
Yeah,
and to the film, I was like, that is such a weird way to kind of.
Like her yelling at him is like, why would you run away? Like, well, because you're coming out with if you're not Dirk Gently, why did you run away? Like, you're coming out with a knife. I didn't know you were looking for Dirk. Their interaction is really
and it's fun. It's really witty. It's just fun watching them. They're bantering.
Yeah.
It's
like it's a different kind of okay. So both of them have this energy, right? Dirk and Bart. Their scenes both have a lot of energy.
Yeah,
but. In Dirk's scenes, they're all manic and kind of like you don't know what's going on. It's like a ball bouncing around in a room and bouncing off walls, and they're not going anywhere.
Yeah,
but with Bart, everything she does is aimed at something. Like she doesn't know why she's doing this stuff, but she needs to kill someone, she will kill him.
Yep.
And something happens. Like, she kills this person and this person's dead.
Yeah.
Dirk is trying to do something, but I don't know what he's trying to do, and he normally doesn't get to do it. Like, one of my favorite scenes with Dirk, surprisingly, was the one that there are some, was the hostage situation. Like, they're going to exchange hostages, but neither side knows why they got the person that they have, and they don't know the relationship between anyone. They don't know why they're there. They don't know what's going on. The bad guy's wondering why Dirk set his house on fire. Dirk doesn't even realize the house was set on fire. They're like, I got your friend. I got this woman here, and they don't know who the woman is, and everything's so confusing. And then, like, okay, this show is kind of cool in that sense. Like, when no one knows what's going on, it's kind of realistic in that sense. Like, no one is perfect. No one knows the whole story.
Yeah.
And then you have the second part where the bad guys captured Dirk and Todd, and Todd is like, oh, here we go. He's going to tell us everything. He's going to explain why everything's happening. And then Gordon Rimmer, who's a bad guy, the first thing he's like, who are you guys? And what's going on? Why are you like? No, like, from his point of view, he has the secret plan that he pretty much just started at that point. Like, he had this plan to take over everything. No one else is supposed to know it, except all these people
suddenly come in and
like,
wreck his plans.
Todd and Dirk, they come in and they seem to know everything, and they're ruining everything. And you have the guy from the future, from the past. He's coming in and killing everyone. It's like, wait, how come everyone knows my plans? What's going on? And those were the two scenes I kind of enjoyed, and thought, oh yeah. This like, with Dirk and Todd, I'm like, okay, this
makes sense because
this is funny.
This makes sense, and it's funny because that's true. Like, actually, no one knows what's going on. I'm glad I'm not the only one.
yes. But apart from that, there's not too many. Most of them, I'm like Todd. I'm like, please just throttle Dirk because he's an idiot. What the hell? Why would you go and crank the thing and then fall into a shaft? Like, and then Todd does the same thing. I'm like, oh my god, you're stooping into his level. And I looked at Farah, and like, Farah had that expression. She's like, and I'm like, yes.
Yes, that's what everyone should feel like when they see him.
Like, okay, and then we'll jump to Farah for a while. Like, look, she was a cool character at the start. Like, oh my god, she was captured. She was locked in a room. Somehow she managed to escape, and she doesn't know how. She gets swapped for a hostage, and she doesn't know what's going on. Although I don't think they really explained how Dirk knew Farah, did they? Because how Dirk said, "Hi, Farah," and then Todd's like, "You know her," and throttles him because like, but they never explained. Wait, where did?
I can't remember.
Yeah, I'm a bit confused. Or did Dirk meet Farah when he was hired by the rich guy?
No, because he doesn't remember when he wasn't. I don't think he actually met the rich guy. He just got hired. I don't know if he ever met him. Did he?
Anyway, whatever.
Details.
So Farah, and you're like, oh, she's the normal one.
Yeah.
She will pull everything back together. She will point them in the right direction, and they were researching this thing. They drop into a shaft. She looks frustrated, and I feel sorry for her. And then she goes back and help Amanda deal with this fake FBI agent and kicks his ass. And I'm like, yes, she was able to, come and talk to me out in the corridor. Like, what the hell are you doing? Why are you interrogating a suspect with no partner? Where is your partner? And all this stuff. And I'm like, yes, you kick ass. You are really cool. And then the fake FBI says one word, like, "Oh, now I understand why you failed your test." It's the psychological aspect.
Yeah.
And he did that thing with the forehead, like tapping his own forehead, and I really hated him at that moment. I just wanted to shoot him. He had that really annoying, like, I was so pissed off looking at his features. Like, I'm like, wow, you're a really good actor because I really hate you at this moment.
I really want to punch you right now.
You're such a jerk. And she steps back, like, she completely crumbles and falls apart. And I'm like, oh, now you're just one of them. Now you frustrate me. Like, you're another. Yeah, like when Amanda said to her, "You're very weird." Like, you are very weird, and she meant it as a compliment.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, no, yes, you are very weird. You're like, you are as bad as the rest of them, and you annoy me. Like, all of them. Amanda was kind of cool.
Actually, I was going to say, Amanda, out of all of them, was the one that you kind of go like, you know what? Given how shitty your life is, you're taking this pretty well.
Yeah.
Like, I was actually enjoying watching her and the Rowdy Free.
Yeah.
I was like, That's a good kind of
I
interaction.
liked them. I liked how they bonded together, and how they were painting her nails and
Oh no, I even liked how at the start when Amanda and the Rowdy Three first kind of like that whole interaction with the car and
then her drumming, and then giving them the finger, and I'm like, yes,
I can see her and that's the thing. She as a character was very consistent throughout the show. I felt like that's what she is. That's who she is. That's how she would deal with a situation like this. And it was great seeing, because I was like, finally, someone's actually being what the character's supposed to be. Like, awesome.
Well, okay. No, actually, talking about Amanda, that part, the thing when Dirk first interacted with Amanda, and Amanda explaining how she can't get out of the house because of her disease and stuff like that. And then he asked that question, wait, so why won't you be out of the house? I mean, your disease could hit you anywhere, right? So how would staying in the house help you? And that changed her outlook.
Yeah.
At first, I thought, if this is what Dirk is, like that he would say these random things and would cause these things to happen, and if everything he does is like that, okay. Yeah. I understand why he's a holistic detective. Unfortunately, that only happens 50% of the time. Yeah. The other 50% is like, they're just annoying me. Like the things that he said, it's a map. Or like, the she that he meant in the message is Lydia Spring. Like, come on. Everyone knows that. What? Like, it's a thing. We dug up a thing. Oh, God. Frustrates me. But talking back to another character that annoys me, Fredkin. That's the name. Freakin. That's the special agent that was with the other special agent that was in charge of looking after all the psychic people.
Sergeant Freakin. Yes. He was the idiot.
Yes.
Literally, he was an idiot.
Oh my God. Like how, like if Todd's question of how did you survive to Dirk, my question to Freakin is, how did you even ever enter training? Like, how did you end up where you were? Like, you barely read any of the notes or files that were given to you. It feels like you were illiterate. Like, that's why you never read it, because you couldn't deal with it. How did you manage not only just pass your training, your basic training, how did you even get accepted to go through basic training? It feels like it's another one of those situations where God looks after fools and children. He is another fool.
And I feel like that's the problem. Like, I can accept a show with one, maximum two of these people. And the thing's like, okay.
Oh, no, and also those two people, they have no institution. That they don't have... Dirk never got there's no true license for being a detective. He never had to go through a test or anything. He just calls himself a detective. Sure, you can call yourself whatever you want. The other is an assassin. She could kill whoever she wants. There's no one to stop you. But this guy is a special agent that supposedly went through many trainings, many things. Who let him through?
Yeah, like, you're in this... Okay, you can say this is, this world is just filled with people like that. But I was like, no, the problem is this show is about these two people who have this, ability, let's just say, to kind of see these connections. But they're only there because they've had this backstory between them. Okay,
that's what the whole story
is about. Like, they're not normal. Okay, everyone else outside of them are normal people.
Outside of the group of psychic people. There's not just them two, right? Rowdy Free and all of them.
Like, but outside of these specialized people, these are supposed to be normal people. Like Todd, you see, he's a normal person.
Yep.
Yes, we don't like his character, but he's a normal person.
Yep.
Amanda's a normal person. The colonel is a normal person. So technically, this sergeant is also a normal person, but he's not normal. Like, there's no way a normal person can be like that. And it's like when he goes inside, like, I have the target in sight, and the colonel say, "Don't shoot the target, shoot the target."
I'm like, wait,
it's like that's.
And it's not like no one knows it. That's why Freakin was assigned to Colonel Scott Riggins, is because they didn't want to assign anyone to him, but he really needs someone, so they're going to give him the bottom of the barrel, right? Yet he managed not only to pass all his tests and managed to get into the position that he became a sergeant. A sergeant. Like, is everyone else like incompetent? Although, looking at the FBI agents that they had in the show, you would reckon, yes, everyone does seem like everyone in the
military
or
the government agencies are a bit incompetent.
Apart from the missing person people, they were a little incompetent too. But they were.
Look, they were just. They weren't annoyingly out there.
No.
Like yes, they did some silly things and stupid things, but they weren't completely idiotic.
No, and
that's the problem. Freakins was completely idiotic, but then you know you have
at the end, he not only did he manage to become a sergeant and he goes into these cases and stuff, he managed to talk himself into a promotion, and he becomes a threat. It's one thing for him to be an idiotic threat where he shoots a bullet at and he managed to free Farah because of his actions, right? But that he managed to become, he takes over Sergeant Scott Riggins' position.
Colonel Riggins.
Colonel Riggins' position. He gets funded $80 million. He was bragging about the $80 million. And he manages to catch, well, you think, he caught Dirk.
Yeah.
He's organized all these people to go and catch the Rowdy Three and to catch Bart.
Yeah.
Well, we don't know.
We don't know whether they see it, but you see that initial plan. Okay.
Yes.
It's like, how does he go from being such an idiotic person to suddenly being able to orchestrate all of this?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, it shouldn't make sense.
Yes.
And the problem I had with him was like the show just asked us to accept that he's an idiot to begin with, but now he's not an idiot.
Well, no, that he's still an idiot because he's saying he doesn't read any of the files or anything. He's like, but I have to kill everyone who knows about Dirk Gently.
Yeah. It's just like...
The poor missing person agent, like, well, whatever his name is, like, the two agents. One of them dies in the middle of the show, and the other one, keep on forgetting their name. Estevez. Estevez? Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
So one's called Zimmerfield, the other's Estevez. Zimmerfield dies in the middle of the show. I'm like, poor guy. I mean, both of them, they might be slight idiots, but they're not really that bad.
Yeah.
And, like, I mean, they're embroidered in a situation that they...
Have no idea.
Yeah, like they reacted the way we would react to some of these situations. Like, wait, there's a shark bite, and there's a bite mark in the ceiling. How is there a bite mark in the ceiling? How did this work?
Yeah.
And all these weird things are happening to them, and they're dealing the best they could, and they're doing the best they could to do good things. They're trying to save Lydia Springs.
Yeah.
One of them gets shot by a harpoon, like a crossbow harpoon thing, and then gets zapped. Like, if a shot to the heart is not going to kill you, then, send a volt of electricity through them, right? And then poor Estevez, who had to go through an emotional breakdown and, like, his whole world had to be reordered because he realized the reality that he thought it was not the way it was. And then in the end, when he finally gets through all of this, he gets shot by an idiot. Like, oh, man, I feel so bad for him.
But, yeah, so there's a lot of issues.
Except, again, by the end of the show, I've forgiven Dirk. I don't even remember that he was an idiot. I love all the characters. I still hate Freakin'. But then he's a bad guy. You're not supposed to hate him.
Not supposed to like him.
You like Todd because he seems to have redeemed himself at that point. Farah had kind of like, he killed the FBI agent.
Yes.
And you're like, oh, yes, you stood up for yourself. That's really cool. Lydia's gone to, the actress. I felt so sorry for her because 90% of the show she's acting like a dog and she's like barking, and I'm like, oh, and her character supposedly ate a human.
Yeah.
Like, how she was complaining that I ate a rat as a dog.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, you don't want to think about what your body's been through.
Yeah.
Your body's been through a lot worse. So... most of the characters, the really bad ones, have been killed. All the good ones seem to have redeemed themselves. I like the ending.
I think the good thing the show did was that it wrapped up that first mystery really well.
Yeah.
Okay, everything wrapped up really nicely. There was no loose ends to that first mystery.
Yeah. And they did the time, like, normally time travel, you don't like it. Like, this one is like, no, it's inevitable. Everything's going to stay the same. You can't change anything.
Yeah. And I like that about it. There's no point in you trying to change it, so don't.
Yeah.
Just go along with it.
Yep.
Do what enjoy your time, but don't try changing it. And I in some ways, I like that because it's not trying to do the whole, you can change this. And no, just accept it. This is how it's going to be. Just enjoy what you can now.
Yep.
I was like, okay, I can get behind that. So I liked how that first movie was really wrapped up really nicely. Everything was like nice. There's no loose ends or anything. And And then at the end of the first season, it gives you this new hook, and it
Yes.
just begs you to kind of go like, now I need to know what happens, which is why I'm still going to watch season 2 because I want to
because
know what
also
happens.
the characters all seem to have
They
found
have-
a way. They found their own family. Like
Yeah.
Rowdy 3 with Amanda, they're like
Yeah.
dancing in I don't know, somewhere. And then you have Bart and Ken, and they have this like, nice time when they're like eating and they're looking at this view and they've stolen some taxi because and they're wearing like bellhop uniforms, and I feel like, oh wait, Ken, do you realize like Bart seems to like you? Like I don't like if they become don't like that
that
doesn't
was
work.
awkward.
Yeah, that's just awkward. But it's kind of cool like how they had it. And then the other 3, they were going to start a detective
Yeah.
agency, and it would be like, oh my
you
God.
kind of felt like, finally everyone seems to have grown
Yeah.
somehow.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Out of all this, I don't know how, but you guys managed to grow.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess it comes with the premise of
No,
the
I
show.
also like the fact that Todd kind of understood that he can't fix anything.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't try to fix his relationship with Amanda. It's like, oh yeah, it will fix itself over
Yeah.
time. Like she
Yeah.
can't completely forgive me yet.
Yeah.
Like we are not hating each other.
Yep.
But she's out of my life for
Yeah.
now, and I understand that, and I'll
Yeah.
try to move on. Like that
Yeah.
seems like he's growing.
Yeah, it's
you
like,
know.
yes, that's a good start.
Yes.
Um,
And
it-
Dirk has friends, so he doesn't feel lonely, and he does, Yeah.
Actually, I almost make a good, interesting, like, kind of comparison because you've got Dirk and Bart, who's obviously the kind of like parallel with
Yep.
each other, and then you have Todd and Ken, who's
Yep.
also parallel.
Which is why they shared that look. When,
Yeah,
when
where they sort of like, oh, you've been through this, yes,
and
I've
then
been
he's
through
like, yeah.
But it's amazing though that between Bart and Ken, when they're on screen together, we enjoy the show so much
more, yeah.
much more. Even though technically it's the same kind of relationship,
Same kind of
same
dynamic.
kind of dynamic between the two. I just never get that.
No, because the
dynamic,
big
so-
thing is, at no point would you have Ken jumping Bart and say, you did stupid things.
Yeah.
Right? Because, well, the only thing is, don't drink the shampoo.
Yeah.
That's not for drinking.
Yeah.
It is shampoo. You're like, but it has fruit on it, and that is fine because
Yeah.
she doesn't do anything stupid.
Yeah.
That's why their dynamic works, because everything she does,
Like
Actually-
she like if she does do stupid thing, it's more out of like a child's innocence.
yes,
Like
and it doesn't have ramifications.
Yeah, like and I think that's the thing. Like with Bart, she is actually the most innocent.
Oh yeah.
If you really think about
Yep.
her actions, like she's just know that this is what, like she doesn't know like a lot
What
of things
food
for
is.
this, but she just knows that her life is like this, and when she starts to learn about this, she has that childlike innocence.
But
to
she's
her.
not greedy.
But yeah,
She has all this money, and she finds out, oh, this is a hotel room, but
Yeah.
she's not like, I want this forever. Like, there's no like, oh yeah, I'm gonna enjoy this while it's here, but I'm not gonna try.
Like she doesn't dwell on
No.
on it. Like I just
Oh,
like
and when she gets shot or get hurt, and she's like, oh, it hurts,
Yeah,
it
it was like-
hurts, I'm gonna die, I'm never doing this again. This hurts. And he's like, what doesn't kill you? And then she's like,
It's
hurts a
a
lot.
lot.
And yeah, I enjoy that. Whereas when Dirk does something stupid, I'm like, oh, I just want to slap him.
Slap you. It's like, Todd, can you please slap him?
Yeah.
Shut him up. But yeah. Okay.
So because I had to rewatch this because I've watched it already. Then I watched this already ages ago, so I thought I had to rewatch this so I remember a lot of things because there was a lot of things I forgot. But you know how you said you watched it in a very short period of time?
Yep.
I didn't watch it in a short period of time.
Oh, okay.
It took me, I think, 3 weeks to watch 2 episodes
Oh.
because as you said, what kept you going was the mystery, right?
Yeah.
Oh, what's going on? Why is going on? And that's what happened the first time because I watched it and like there's all these weird stuff going on, but you're like, wait, there's a killer and she just kills everything. What is going on? Why is she suddenly here? And that
Yeah.
kept me going into the next episode.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, and now you have this Farah. She's stuck in a room and wait, why is she stuck in
Yeah.
a room? And she's now let out, but she couldn't really leave because she's stuck. She's freed from the bed,
Yeah.
but she couldn't leave the room. And then she's still caught. And you're like, wait, what's going on? And that keeps you going. When I have to rewatch it, I know what's going on. I
Yeah.
know why she's here. I know why she's that. And like I don't want to watch it again. It's like, I already know everything that's going on. and now having to deal with all the frustrating stuff that Dirk was doing,
Yeah.
having to deal with all the stupidity. I'm like, why am I doing this again? But when I got to episode 3, I got wrapped up in it again. I started enjoying
The mystery again.
no,
Oh.
I started enjoying Ken and Bart.
Oh, right. Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And I started enjoying. Well, actually, no. I just started enjoying Ken and Bart. None of the others really wasn't that enjoyable because I'm like, oh, Dirk.
I know. I
Dirk.
enjoy watching Amanda and the Rowdy Free. I think.
Oh
that
no,
was-
and that one I forgot
like
about. That.
I really enjoyed at the start how like Amanda.
But you see, nothing really happened there.
No, but it. I don't know. I wouldn't say that because like especially at the start when the Rowdy Free in their truck.
Oh yeah.
You know-
Oh, and then later when she calls Todd,
Yeah.
and she's like, "Oh, I'm just going to the shops," and she's walking down the street, and then you realize the Rowdy Three was in the
Behind her,
trucker,
yeah.
and
and then she now notices them, and then she has this interesting dynamic with those 4 people.
Yeah.
Although they're Rowdy Free, there's 4
4
of
of
them.
them,
There's a really interesting dynamic between how she interacts with those
Yep.
4. I like that. Like it's kind of like a mutual like understanding in
Yeah.
some ways that
Yeah.
you know we don't need to understand each other totally, but just we're here like and we'll enjoy it. Like
we're all like outcasts in
Yeah.
a way.
Yeah,
we're
and
not.
we're not normal.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really, and that's the thing. I really enjoyed those parts of the show, which is why I still want to watch it. I still want to see what happens.
Yep.
But I will agree. If I had to rewatch it, I'd be very much annoyed with having to deal with like some of the characters.
Like, I mean, rewatching it, you also notice some of the things you skipped the first time, and I said this to Peter. Like, some of the characters show up way earlier than I thought they did. Like the scene where Todd sees the woman in the hotel room. The guy that leaves the hotel room is actually one of the FBI agents. The woman's actually Gordon's ex-girlfriend, like when Gordon was the rock star. Like little things like that. There's like details that you're like, oh, I didn't see it the first time. But is it enough
For
to
you to
hook you?
rewatch
Is
it?
it watch it the second time? Probably not. Like really, probably not. Because if you get annoyed by their stupidity, then But if you enjoyed it, like if you enjoyed the whimsy of it, if you enjoyed how everyone just bounces everywhere with excess energy, like if they pump caffeine straight into their bloodstream, then fine. Watch it again, or even watch it the first time. I don't know. I think I still recommend people to watch it at least once. It's still enjoyable.
Yeah, look, it is enjoyable. I know we've kind of talked about a lot of its flaws, but then we always do. Even for shows that we do, like we always seem to harp on
It's the nature
the
of
flaw.
it, right? Once you become a little critical about it, you point out everything. You see everything.
You see everything, right? I think I think that's the thing. At the end of the day, did I enjoy watching it the first time? Yes, I did. Like I enjoyed watching it the first time. But at the same time, would I say I liked it? I don't know. I don't know if I can say I liked the show. I
guess-
enjoyed it.
Yeah. I think in the end it would be, did you enjoy it? Because if you enjoyed it, then other people might enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like, I think there is a difference.
Look, definitely give it a go because I think you'll know if that's the kind of show that you will enjoy or not after the first episode.
I think 2 episodes.
Oh.
Yeah, because the first episode had too many weird, like too many
Yeah,
people
too many,
all
yeah.
showing up at the same time, and you're like, well, what's going on? The second episode kind of like starts to show how they might connect a little
Yeah.
bit more,
Yeah.
and the second episode gives you a chance to put their hooks in you.
Yeah,
I
sure.
always give a show 3 episodes.
Yeah. And I think once you get into it like that, I think it actually you'll know whether you'll continue watching it or not.
Yeah, yeah.
And now because like we know that season 2 is happening, and we know that there's a hook for season 2.
Yeah.
Now I just want to know what happens.
Yeah.
I think in some respect it's a bit like Arjun. Like I want to know what happens.
Have you watched season 2?
I haven't watched season 2 yet.
Me neither.
I-
Then I don't enjoy Arjun. I didn't enjoy it the first time. Remember? Because some of the things didn't make sense. I can no longer remember what my arguments are,
Yeah.
but I just remember that I didn't really like it that much.
Yeah, I did enjoy it, and I do want to watch it. I just haven't had time yet. I've been watching other stuff.
Yes, and doing that long list of stuff that we talked about last episode.
Yeah, I know, right? Oh, I think that's the problem for me though. Like I want to watch Arjun season 2, but it wasn't. high enough on the list for me to go like, oh, I have to watch it right now.
Yeah.
It was one of those like, oh, I'll get to
probably
it.
because you've forgotten enough of it. It's
Oh,
been a
that
long
too.
enough time that you're like, oh, I don't really remember what the hook is. What was the hook? in the
Yeah.
end?
They've now
Oh, the two of them decided that they were going to fight the bad guy.
and then
The bad guy was going to say, I'm going to kill every single person on this list.
yeah,
Or something along those
something
lines.
along the line.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Anyway,
Okay, so we have safely stayed within the time limit, and we have talked about Dirk Gently. We can end the episode,
yeah,
and we should talk about what we're going to talk about next,
yes, we should.
which is the book called S.
S. Dot.
That is written by Doug. What was that? Durst? Doug? What? I can't read it. It's on his desk right now, and I can't see it. Doug Dost, and also by J.J. Abrams. Now,
The concept, I think, is about.
the concept is by J.J. Abrams, and the idea is, as we mentioned like 3-4 episodes ago, it's supposed to be the format of the book is this textbook, well, a fiction book, and in the margins are written comments by these two people who are trying to solve a mystery that surrounds the author and all that stuff. And within the pages and stuff, you have newspaper articles and all that kind of stuff where they leave messages to each other and say, hey, this passage reminds me of this thing. Now, this is the idea that I had. This is what I was told that this is what the book is about. And I have went into the book reading just the main story by itself, or I tried to, before going back to read it with the comments to see, how the experience is. Now, I haven't told Peter this, and I'm going to tell him now. Well, actually, I told him a little bit. I don't think he'll like it. I don't think he'll like it because I'm not enjoying it right now. I enjoyed the idea of it. Then I started reading it. The main story is so dry and so boring, and I couldn't finish it. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to start from the start, and I'll read it with the comments because this will get me through the book. And I started reading the comments, and I'm like, oh my god, this is like a terrible YA because neither of these characters look like they have any intelligence at all. They seem to be slightly flirting with each other, and oh my god, I think I just asked Peter to buy this book, and he did. And we already said that we were going to read this, except I don't know whether I could get through with it because this is now a physical book. There's no way you could get through. You can't read this in audio, not at all. Like the previous one, the Ancient Seven Wonders, I could read it for audiobooks because it's written that way. This one, you can't because firstly, you have the main story and then you have the comments. How would you do the comments in audiobook form unless you have 3 different voices and they're talking at the same time? I don't know, like one after the other. I don't know. And then all those additions, like the newspaper articles and the stuff. How would I do that? And supposedly this is a mystery, right? There is like codes and stuff. There's a code ring at the back of the book that helps you solve a mystery. I don't know how to use it yet because I haven't gotten to that part yet. Because that thing fell out halfway through the book. But how would they give that to you in an audio book form? It's not possible. I will have to lug this physical book with me for months. This is going to take me a while to read. I don't know whether we could do it in the next episode because I don't know whether I can finish reading it in a short enough time.
Well, I guess our listeners will know if we end up the next episode and we're like, hi guys, by the way, we're not doing S-Dot this time because
I still haven't finished reading it, and instead we're going to talk about Spider-Man Homecoming because I forced Peter to watch it so I could complain more about it.
Yeah.
Or we could do, all the, Westerfield books you bought, which looks very interesting. What's his first name again?
Scott.
Yes, thank you. Scott Westerfield.
Yeah.
Well, we won't know until next time.
No.
But,
look, I'm going to start.
And I'm going to do that too. But I don't know. I mean, for all I know, like Peter's going to start it and then like in 2 days he'll message me. No, I cannot do this. This is a terrible book. You made me waste money on this terrible thing. I'm not going to
it's not a cheap book as well, by the way. It's quite an expensive book.
It's not a cheap book. No, I'm so sorry.
See, if this turns out to be a waste of time, you owe me dinner.
Well, no, that's the thing, right? If it's a terrible book, then I'll be like, Peter, don't spend time on it. Don't waste any time on it because I could pay for dinner and justify the payment. I could pay you back for the book, but I can't pay you back in time whether you spent what reading. So we'll see. We'll see how this goes because if he ends up liking it, because that's the other thing, right? Peter has a tendency to like things I really hate. Then I might be forced to read the whole thing.
That is true.
Because even the person who recommended this book to me, he didn't finish it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he didn't even try reading just the book by itself.
Yeah.
He read everything,
Yeah.
and he couldn't. No. So I'm like, oh crap.
It's funny. Like I was telling my cousins that I was doing a.
Oh
a
no!
podcast.
Did you tell them to buy the book as well?
I didn't tell them to buy it. I was like, I'm gonna read it,
Uh-huh.
and I told them about the premise, and they're like, "Oh, this sounds like a really interesting
See, the
idea."
premise is
I was
very
like,
interesting.
Yeah, it's a really premise of storytelling, and it's like, but yeah, I'll see what happens.
Yeah,
when I
because that's the
finish
thing. The
writing.
premise is really, really, really good, but probably it's a very hard concept to implement.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you have to write a very interesting story to begin with, and they didn't manage to do that. And then you have to manage to write a very interesting story with only just the margin, margin comments. Like it's like a dialogue between two people, and that's hard.
Yeah.
And I feel like they probably didn't manage to do it.
Well, I'll read it for a bit, and then we'll talk about this if we end up deciding that yes or no. Or look, if we end up both really don't liking it, we can just stop where we are and then just talk about why we didn't like it.
Yeah, we don't have to finish it. And
I
we can still talk about we'll talk about it for an hour because apparently we could talk about an hour for anything.
I know, right? It's obviously if it's something that we couldn't deal with, we'll have a lot of explanation why we couldn't deal with it.
I don't know. Actually, I don't know. Because even now, I can't tell you why I hate it. Except apart from it's just terrible writing. It's just terrible writing. And I can't.
I don't know a better way of saying this.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think we should do our conclusion then.
Yep. Okay. So we have decided we maybe will be doing S. Next episode, and then we have to give them ways to contact us.
Yes.
Sorry, I just forgot how my mind just... Yeah. Anyway, so if you like this new format where we just talk about everything and don't filter or structure or think about anything...
Last episode.
Or if you don't like it... Well, no, even with this episode, we just kind of...
Yeah, there wasn't as much structure to our talks.
We didn't really... Yeah. So let us know whether you like it or not on Twitter at TriggerPointFM or via email at triggerpointfm@gmail.com, or you can visit our website, which is www.triggerpointfm.com. Or you can go to YouTube and leave us comments there. We don't have a channel name, as I said. Well, we don't have a channel URL, but it's Trigger Point Podcast. Yeah, you can search for us that way. So
until then, we'll see you next time.
Mm-hmm.
See you, everyone.
Bye.